Hello guys, what's up? Welcome to a coder's journey. My name is Morteza, and in this episode we are going to talk about the importance of our method parameters when it comes to writing clean code. Now in the last episode, and I hope you have watched the previous videos, because what we talk about in each episode it's kind of related to what we have already covered in the previous videos. Anyway, in the last video, we talked about the two categories of methods, action methods, answering methods, and it is important to kind of distinguish and, make each method either an answering method or an action method. But as I told you, there are some cases where, these are overlapped. And for example, you might come across a method which falls into both of these categories. It is an answering method, and at the same time it is an action method. In this video, I have decided to talk about a very important topic again when we want to write clean methods, and that is the topic of method parameters. And of course, you know that your methods can have parameters, and what you pass to them when you call them is called arguments, and those arguments are going to be, the values are going to be put into the parameters of the method, and then these parameters will, kind of modify the behavior of the method that you have written. I'm going to go again with this person class. As you can see, the outline, I've got three properties actually. I've got these three methods, right? And as you can see here, we've got a method with two parameters. More often than not, they are called dyadic methods with two parameters. Here we've got a method with no parameters at all, and sometimes our method, has one parameter, which is sometimes called monadic methods. Methods with too many parameters are very difficult to test because, the combination of those parameters and the values that you pass into them greatly influence the behavior of the method. So it is very difficult to kind of cover each case and each path of execution in a method with too many parameters. Now, so it is first and foremost very important to try to keep the number of your parameters to a minimum. Sometimes they can be refactored. Sometimes you can, for example, extract a method in order to get rid of a parameter. But sometimes a method, normally needs two parameters. For example, if you've got a method to, draw a coordinate, usually, these methods, need two parameters. But it is very important to try to keep the number of your method parameters to a minimum, because if you don't do that, the user of your class need to expend mental cycles to kind of remember these parameters and how they change the behavior of the method. Methods with three parameters are sometimes called triadic. They are very difficult to understand because you have to think about all of these combination of these parameters and how they are going to change the behavior of that method. Now, let me give you an example. Here, for example, I'm going to say this is something that I use in my examples, and I'm going to say private static, or let me say public static, bool can vote, and here I'm going to take in age, voting age, and suppose for males and females, I don't want to be sexist, but for males and females, just for the sake of our example, we want different voting ages for males and females. That's why I want to get in the sex as well. So I'm going to say is male, and then I'm going to say, for example, is a student. So as you can see here, I have a method can vote which is going to return bool, and it is going to take in three parameters. Two of these parameters are of type bool and the other one is of type int. And here I'm going to say, for example, if age is greater than voting age, right? And is male true? and is a student false, right? Return true. That's what I am going to I'm gonna delete static. So this method else return false, right? This method is returning a bool based on the values that we pass into the parameters. Now, as I told you, the triadic methods with 3 parameters are very difficult to understand and to reason about. That's why with a simple refactoring, we can reduce the number of these parameters. And the refactoring that you're going to use is to, encapsulate all of these parameters into a single class or sometimes a struct. So that class or a struct is going to act like a container, if you will, of these parameters. So I'm going to say class vote, let's say eligibility, and then I'm going to say I have 3, I'm going to need 3 properties, right? I'm going to say int, and I'm going to say bool, and I'm going to say bool again. This is a student, is male, voting age, and then I'm going to, just make them Pascal case. And then here, instead of passing in 3 primitive data types, I'm going to pass in this vote eligibility. I'm going to say vote, and then here I'm going to say voting age, and here I'm going to say is male, and here I'm going to say is a student. Now, as outside of this class, here I am going to create a person class, right? And then I'm going to call this person can vote, and as you can see here, I just need to pass in an instance of type vote eligibility. So instead of passing in 3 different parameters of int, and 2 of them were of type bool, instead of passing in primitive data types, I'm going to pass in a reference type. So here I'm going to say voting eligibility, and I'm going to initialize the parameters. I'm going to say is male false, is a student true, voting age 18, right? And then I'm going to pass in this object, and finally I'm going to console write line the result. So let me get rid of this and let me run. And in the output, I get false as the result. So this is how you can reduce, one of the ways you can, use in order to reduce the number of parameters that you take in. You can, encapsulate them in a class like this. You can kind of add this refactoring technique. It could be a class, it could be a struct, but here I have chosen to, create a class. And then you can pass in an instance of this class, and you can set the different values to the properties of this object. That was it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Stay tuned, because in the upcoming videos I'm gonna talk more about making our code clean by doing some techniques and doing some refactorings on our methods. If you have enjoyed watching this video, please, as always, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. Also, share this video with a friend, and make sure you watch the previous videos of this series, and subscribe to A Coder's Journey if you haven't already done so. Also, you can, activate that notification so that whenever I release a new video, you can, watch it instantly. Thank you again so much for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.